What grip aid should you use? That's the topic of today's video. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my bedroom floor. So lately I've been dabbling back with aerial hoop / Lyra. I used to take a lot of classes. I was getting a little advanced, but then I sort of stopped training the hoop when I got a lower back injury from doing a layback. I've mostly been doing silks the past 2 years, but lately, I don't know, I've just been missing hoop. I was gifted a hoop through Amazon, so I had to make a video about it, and it just made me nostalgic. So I've been taking a lot of lower level hoop classes just to get back into it. And I've been seeing a lot of newer aerial hoop friends reach in for the rosin instead of the chalk, or being altogether confused about what sort of grip aid they should use. Same thing when I teach intro to silks. Sometimes I see people go in for the chalk instead of the rosin. So today I wanted to talk about all the grip aids, what I use, what you use, because some things are universal, but some things it's a dealer's choice kind of situation. So let's get into it. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to talk about my history with grip. So I have small hands, which is a huge disadvantage, and I've always had poor grip. So back in the day, I used to be friends with the characters of Sesame Street and dance with my Sesame Street friends in a show. And one thing that you had to do in that show was help your friends talk. And by doing that, you needed to have a strong grip because there was a mechanism in the costume that you had to squeeze to imitate a mouth talking. So I was always the worst at that. I got so many notes about, hey, Laurie, you're a beat behind with everything. And it wasn't because I didn't know my lines or anything like that. It was because I had poor grip. So for a little while, I got one of those grip trainers and was using it, but then I'd forget to use it, or also my hands would be too tired and I just kind of forgot about it. Fast forward a few years later, I started training aerial. And when I initially started, I started on the pole. And that's when I found out that I have hyperhidrosis in my hands. So my hands are chronically clammy. And for the pole, the best grip aid to use, and we will talk about others as we go on in this video, but the main grip aid that everyone uses is dry hands. It's basically a liquid chalk. There's different brands, there's different kinds, but essentially it's a liquid chalk. You put it on, it dries your hands out, and you should be good to go. But if you have chronically sweaty hands, maybe the liquid chalk works for about 20 seconds and then you sweat through it. So I simply could not do pole. And I also want to mention that I had a bunch of pole teachers say, well, you just need to build up strength. It's not that your hands are sweaty, it's that you have no strength. And at first they were probably right, except then I started to train aerial silks, which sweaty hands is perfect for, because the sweatier your hands are, the easier you're able to not slide down the silks. And as I got stronger on the silks, I went back into pole, but still had the same exact problem. I just slide down the pole like a lobster. And so then eventually I sort of quit, although I still take classes from time to time, and we'll get into that later in this video too. When I started silks, I was just using regular rock rosin. So regular rock rosin, it's just like what you would use on a string instrument or on the bottom of your point shoes, and you just crush it up, rub your hands together. It helps make your hands sticky. But as I got deeper into my aerial journey, I wanted to train hoop. And with the hoop, the sweaty hand situation became a problem again. So then I started studying, what could I do? What could I do? Now there's a few options. The first one is there are prescription antiperspirants, which I went to the doctor and I got, and it didn't work. It did not work. And it's really annoying to use. You have to like apply it to your hands, then keep your hands in the gloves for a certain amount of time. It was really annoying. The next one was Botox, which every review I read about it said it was extremely painful. And also you would have to continue getting it done. And also it was expensive, and I was already paying basically everything I had to train aerial when I started aerial. So I did not have any money for Botox on my hands. Plus, come on, if I'm going to get Botox, I'm going to get it where it matters, my forehead. So, but I got bangs instead, so we're good. So from there, the third option was a process called iontophoresis. So with iontophoresis, you buy something called a dryonic hand device, and it's basically a treatment you do for your hands. You have to do it, I would say every day in a row for at least 2 weeks. And then once it starts working, you can go down to like every other day or even every 2 or 3 days. But it's basically a device you put your hands in, and it sends kind of like electric currents into your palms. It's not that painful, especially once you get used to it. You barely feel it. And it basically like zaps your sweat glands, essentially. If you don't do it regularly, though, it stops working and the sweat comes back. But I bought one of those machines, and they're about $250. And yeah, I started doing that every day, and it started working. So it was great for the hoop, and I even started taking pole classes again, and it worked for the pole too. But then I couldn't do the silks. I would just be sliding down the silks like a crazy person, and I had like no grip, and everything silk started to terrify me, because when I got more than 4 or 5 feet off the ground, I was just like, I can't hold these. So that's when a blessing and both a curse happened at the same time. The blessing was that I found spray rosin. The curse is that I found spray rosin. So spray rosin is exactly what it sounds like. It's liquid rosin. You spray it on your hands. It's basically like regular rosin times 10. But I'm telling you guys, once you start using it, you can't quit. It's like a drug for aerialists. And a lot of teachers consider it cheating. And also a lot of teachers say that if you continue to use spray rosin, you just will not develop the grip that you need to be a professional aerialist. I agree and disagree with it. I think it depends what your aerial goals are. If your goal is Cirque du Soleil, like I would continue to develop that grip. I would do all the exercises to get a better grip, and I would not turn to spray rosin as a crutch. But my goals were simple and few, and eventually they became just getting through teaching 3 classes in a day. So spray rosin is what I used. It's what I still use. It just makes me feel so much more secure when I do silks, especially when I do things high up. Unfortunately, if you are performing a long act, it does run out halfway through. But I feel like as long as you continue to train and condition your act, spray rosin will be great for you, especially if you have smaller hands like me, especially if your hands tend to be drier. So now I don't do the dryonic device anymore because I haven't been doing hoop or pole, but I'm still addicted to the spray rosin. So that's what I use. So let's circle back to pole. So pole, not only does dry hands work great, but sometimes you just need to not only not slip, but just be a little more sticky to the pole. So that is when tack comes in. So tack is like a putty consistency that you put on your hands. And for when you're working on inversions or climbing, it just helps you be a little stickier towards the pole. But also, I use spray rosin in moderation when I'm training inversion stuff on the pole. Now, I don't think it's proper etiquette, and I don't think rosin is good for the pole, make sure, especially if you're sharing a pole with someone, you bring like 10 bottles of alcohol so you can clean up properly after yourself. But if your hands are slipping and sliding and the dry hands and the tack isn't doing it for you, the spray rosin will keep those hands put while you work on your core strength to get your legs up and over your head and invert. And if that offends you out there, I'm really sorry. Also, you can let me know in the comments below. And finally, what do I use for hoop? So we've already talked about dry hands, and dry hands is actually a great option for the hoop too, because it is a liquid chalk. My only thing about it is that the liquid takes a few seconds to dry, but if you're in a hoop class, sometimes it's like, okay, hop on the hoop now. So I prefer regular chalk for the hoop. Most studios usually have a big old basket of it. You just dunk your hands in quickly, and that just dries your hands right out. If you have hyperhidrosis like me, it'll only help you so much. And also, when you get to higher levels and you start doing stuff on the span set, sometimes if your hands are too dry, you'll slide down the span set. So for that, I like to circle back to rosin. So you can either use regular rosin for that or spray rosin for that. But the spray rosin doesn't feel good against the tape on the hoop. So I think when it comes down to it, actual just regular rosin is better for a lot of span set work if you need it. Everything I'm talking about is if you need it. I think that's essentially all I have to say. Again, I've never trained straps or rope or chains or anything like that. I think with chains, I would definitely use gloves, but I don't know the deets, so I'm not going to comment on them. Now listen, I've left links for everything below. For almost everything, I will get a small commission if you purchase from me. I will really appreciate it. For the Dryonic hand device, I won't get a commission, but I swear by it, especially if you have sweaty palms and nothing else works, and it's the difference between you continuing to do pole or hoop and not continuing to do pole or hoop. Definitely get it. It's pricey, but I still have mine. All you need to do is just keep getting new batteries when the batteries run out, and it'll change your grip life. And that's gonna about sum it up for today. Definitely let me know in the comments if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, if you have a special mix for your apparatus, let me know. Also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button with the notification bell on. I post lots of aerial silks tutorials. I started dabbling a little bit with the hoop and aerial hammock tutorials. And then of course I post flexibility tutorials and occasionally vlog style videos or just talking to you about my thoughts and feelings videos. And that's gonna sum it up for today. Until the next time, hope you all have a fit and fabulous day. Bye-bye.